For today's video, we'll be taking a look at a high-end motherboard from MSI that sports the new range-topping AMD X870E chipset, the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi. Sporting support for the latest Ryzen 9000 series of processors, as well as the Ryzen 8000 series of APUs and the older Ryzen 7000 series of CPUs, we'll be taking a closer look at the specs of this board to see if it's any good. Let's get started. To recap, AMD launched its Zen 5 Ryzen 9000 series of processors a couple of weeks back in August 2024, and it'd be par for the course for new processors to be launched alongside new chipsets and new motherboards. For some reason, AMD's chosen to launch its new 800 series chipsets more than a month after the launch of its Ryzen 9000 CPUs, starting first with the higher-end X870 series. The more budget-friendly B800 series of chipsets are rumoured to launch sometime in early 2025. As per the table on the screen, which was taken from AMD's website, the X870E and X870 offer minimal differences over the X670E and the X670 which they replace, where the key differences lie in faster DDR5 memory support and USB 4 support. All boards with the X870E and X870 chipsets come with USB 4 support as standard. To get in on the launch excitement, we'll be taking a look at the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi that, as its name implies, sports the X870E chipset and sits within the MPG series of performance-oriented motherboard offerings at the higher end, where it places below MSI's flagship MEG series and above the MAG series that is targeted at mainstream gamers. As can be seen, the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi comes in a rather colourful box with an image of the motherboard splashed across the front. Moving over to the rear of the box, we get the usual summary of specs for this board. We'll take a closer look at these specs later on in this video. On a side note, if you're new to the ALK Tech channel, do consider subscribing so as to keep up to date with the latest product releases in the PC hardware world. With that, let's have a look at the contents of the box. First up, we get a Wi-Fi antenna that's found in this box right here. Alright, let's set aside the board for now to see what else MSI has included with it. We've got a whole bunch of cables here, starting first with two SATA 3 cables. We do also get an easy front panel cable that helps make hooking up the front panel connectors of your PC case to the motherboard a breeze. In addition to this, an addressable RGB extension cable, which is accompanied by a RGB Y-splitter extension cable. We do also get a special 1-to-3 EZ-CON cable, a new MSI-specific feature that allows end users to connect an addressable RGB device, a fan, and a USB device to the EZ-CON header on the motherboard so as to simplify things. I'll cover EZ-CON in more detail later in this video. We do also get a spare EZ M.2 Clip 2 attachment, and this is accompanied by an EZ M.2 Clip 2 remover tool. In terms of documentation, we get a quick installation guide right here, a regulatory information leaflet, a MSI survey leaflet, a sheet of MSI stickers, as well as a USB flash drive that contains the motherboard's drivers and utilities. Onto the board itself, we see that MSI has gone for what it terms a carbon black colour scheme, with an aesthetic that isn't very loud and shouty. As can be seen, the board comes with an integrated I/O shield design and has large black heatsinks all around. The rear of the motherboard is quite a standard affair, though we do get some markings that serve as a warning not to install unneeded motherboard standoffs within your PC case, which could otherwise damage the board. MSI has also taken the liberty to include protective paint around the motherboard's screw holes so as to protect the PCB against scratches, which is a nice touch. RGB junkies will be pleased to note that the board comes with built-in Mystic Light RGB LEDs that can be found on the cover of the integrated I/O shield, like so. As well as on the heatsink for the first M.2 slot, which is a pretty cool location for RGB lighting, I must say. The VRM heatsinks for this board are sizable, and MSI has included 18 +2 + 1 power stages with whopping 110 amp power phases. The X870E chipset has a dual chip design, and the said chips sit beneath this large passive heatsink right here. For M.2 drive cooling, MSI has provided full heatsink coverage for all 4 M.2 drive slots that this board comes with. For memory support, the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi comes with 4 DDR5 slots with a single tab design that, as of the time of publishing this video, comes with support for up to 256GB of RAM and the DDR5 8400 standard when overclocked. In terms of front panel USB connectivity, along the long edge of the board is a USB 20Gbps Type-C front panel header that supports power delivery of up to 27 watts of power for fast charging, and further down, 2 USB 5Gbps Type-A front panel headers, with each header providing support for up to 2 USB 5Gbps Type-A ports for a total of 4 ports. We do also get 2 USB 2.0 front panel headers at the bottom edge of the board, with each header providing support for 2 USB 2.0 Type-A ports for a total of 4 ports. Some interesting features to highlight. Back at the top of the motherboard, we get a set of Easy Debug LEDs and an Easy Digi Debug LED that can help with troubleshooting PC startup issues. We also get an EasyCon header right here. As mentioned earlier, EasyCon is a new MSI-specific connector, and it allows end users to easily connect MSI's next-generation AIO CPU coolers to the motherboard with just one onboard connector. For end users who do not have such a MSI AIO CPU cooler, the EasyCon header can still be used with non-MSI devices via the included 1-to-3 EasyCon cable included with the motherboard. Near the bottom edge of the motherboard, we get a thermal sensor header that can be hooked up to an optional thermistor cable so as to monitor the temperature of devices within your PC case. We also get an 8-pin supplemental PCIe power connector that provides for an additional source of juice for the power-hungry flagship GPUs of tomorrow. According to MSI, the said connector can provide up to 252 watts of supplemental power. We also get an onboard reset and power button right here. Along with an easy LED control switch that allows end users to disable all of the motherboard's onboard LEDs. Likely a feature that is targeted at overclockers, MSI has also included a safe boot jumper right here that, when enabled, forces the system to boot with default BIOS settings and a lower PCIe link speed from the CPU. In terms of expansion slots, this board comes with a PCIe 5.0 x16 slot for a graphics card. The said slot sports MSI's Steel Armor 2 design to reinforce the slot for use with heavy graphics cards. As can be seen, the slot also comes with the easy PCIe release feature that helps make removing a graphics card a painless affair. Pressing down on this button here will undo the latch for the installation or removal of a graphics card, and we even get a little window that shows whether the latch is locked in place or not. Pretty nifty. We do also get a full-length PCIe 5.0 x16 slot that operates at X4 mode and a full-length PCIe 4.0 x16 slot that operates at X4 mode. Do note that the first and second PCIe 5.0 x16 slots share bandwidth with the second PCIe 5.0 x4 M.2 slot. I'll talk more about the PCIe lane bifurcation situation with this board later on in the section on storage connectivity options. That said, a gentle reminder that PCIe 5.0 is only supported when you have a Ryzen 9000 series or Ryzen 7000 series processor installed. It's worth noting that the Ryzen 8000 series of APUs only support the PCIe 4.0 standard. If you do have a Ryzen 8000 APU installed on this board, depending on which model of APU you have, the primary PCIe 5.0 x16 slot for a graphics card will operate at either PCIe 4.0 x8 mode or X4 mode instead, and the second PCIe 5.0 x16 slot will be disabled entirely. In the storage department, MSI has included 4 SATA 3 ports, with all ports in a right-angled configuration so as to aid with cable management. For M.2 slots, it comes with 2 PCIe 5.0 x4 M.2 slots and 2 PCIe 4.0 x4 M.2 slots. Do note that all of these slots support NVMe SSDs only. M.2 SATA drives will not work in any of these slots. The M.2 heatsinks feature a toolless design called EZ M.2 Shield Frozer 2, which makes removing and installing the heatsinks really easy. All you've got to do is press down on a button located at the side of the heatsink and lift the heatsink away from the board. Another quality of life feature that the M.2 slots have is EZ M.2 Clip 2, which is a spring-loaded standoff device that makes installing and removing a M.2 drive a toolless affair, like so. We do also get an EZ M.2 Clip 2 remover tool that comes in handy to help with removing and repositioning the EZ M.2 Clip 2 device so as to accommodate M.2 drives of different lengths apart from the standard 2280 form factor. Unfortunately, with this board, we do get some PCIe lane bifurcation shenanigans that are absolutely worth noting, especially if your intention is to install 2 PCIe 5.0 x4 M.2 drives on this board. Do note that the second PCIe 5.0 x16 slot that operates at X4 mode and the second PCIe 5.0 x4 M.2 slot M2_2, both share bandwidth with the primary PCIe 5.0 x16 slot for a graphics card. This means that if you have a M.2 drive installed on slot M2_2 or have a PCIe device installed on the second PCIe 5.0 x16 slot, or both situations happening at the same time for that matter, the primary PCIe 5.0 x16 slot for a graphics card will drop down to operate at X8 mode instead. Again, do bear in mind that PCIe 5.0 is supported only with a Ryzen 9000 series or Ryzen 7000 series processor installed. The Ryzen 8000 series of APUs only support the PCIe 4.0 standard, and if you do have one installed on this board, the second PCIe 5.0 x4 M.2 slot M2_2 will be disabled entirely. For audio, MSI has included a high-end Realtek ALC 4080 audio codec with premium audio capacitors. In terms of internet connectivity, the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi comes with dual Ethernet ports. We get a Realtek RTL8126 chip right here that provides support for 5GB Ethernet, as well as a Realtek RTL8125BG chip right here that supports the 2.5GB Ethernet standard. Wi-Fi support is courtesy of a Qualcomm QC-NCM865 Wi-Fi 7 part that supports the 320MHz channel and also serves up Bluetooth 5.4 support. In the cooling and RGB departments, the board comes with 7 fan headers that are located in these regions of the board. Also included are 3 addressable RGB headers and a single 12V RGB header located in these regions. Moving over to the rear I/O, the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi goes for an integrated I/O shield design. The board comes with a whopping 9 USB 10Gbps Type-A connectors. We do also get a HDMI 2.1 port that supports display output of up to 8K resolution at 60Hz, 2 USB 4 Type-C ports that support the DisplayPort alternate mode with support for a maximum resolution of 4K at 60Hz. We also get a Flash BIOS button here that allows end users to update the board's BIOS without needing to install a CPU, RAM or graphics card. A clear CMOS button, a smart button that can be configured from within the BIOS to serve different functions, 2 USB 10Gbps Type-C ports, a 2.5GB Ethernet port, a 5GB Ethernet port, Wi-Fi antenna connectors with the new Easy Wi-Fi antenna connectors, as well as your usual audio jack connectors. With the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi, MSI has also included a new BIOS user interface called ClickBIOS X that features what it calls a new ESA architecture design, with a revamped user interface for ease of navigation and access to the motherboard's various features. As can be seen, on the Easy mode, you get access to a Game Boost mode that allows for one-click overclocking, an AI Boost mode that sadly isn't available with the Ryzen 9 9900X that I have installed on this board. Hopefully, more future AMD AM5 desktop processors will come with a built-in NPU. We do also get easy access to enable Expo or XMP for your DDR5 memory modules, along with a shortened list of menu items so as to keep things simple. For the hardware enthusiast, we do of course get an advanced mode, and this gives you access to more tweaking and overclocking features. Now, to put the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi through its paces, I've set up Test Bench PC with the following specs on the screen, where it's powered by AMD's Ryzen 9 9900X processor. I'll be running a series of synthetic benchmark tests to see how the 9900X fares with the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi, before rounding off with some game benchmark tests. As of the time of testing, I've made sure to install the latest BIOS, drivers, and Windows updates, including the Windows 11 patch that helps optimize AMD's processor performance. Let's get started. And with that, the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi is a premium motherboard offering targeted at PC hardware enthusiasts who are looking to build a high-end AMD AM5 PC, and it clearly looks and feels the part. The board sports a beefy VRM setup, PCIe 5.0 support for both a graphics card and M.2 drives, dual Ethernet ports with built-in Wi-Fi 7, an impressive array of USB Type-C and Type-A connectivity options, along with a whole bunch of quality of life features such as easy PCIe release, easy M.2 Clip 2, and so on. One issue worth noting is with regard to the PCIe lane bifurcation issue that I mentioned earlier on in this video, where we've got the second PCIe 5.0 x16 slot and second PCIe 5.0 x4 M.2 slot sharing bandwidth, with the primary PCIe 5.0 x16 slot for a graphics card. To be fair, I do see some form of PCIe lane bifurcation with other brands of X870E and X870 motherboards as well, and this is pretty much due to chipset lane limitations. In any case, this is still something to take note of. With that, thank you so much for watching, hit the like button and get subscribed if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around the next time.